The Seeker's crew just landed on Eden in the Arcadia system and is starting to explore the once vibrant colony called Unity. "It's like they just evaporated," Dr. Tanaka murmured, his gaze sweeping across the deserted streets, his usual scientific detachment faltering. He stumbled slightly over a child's brightly colored ball, a stark contrast to the muted, dusty tones of the abandoned town. His movements were unusually clumsy, his fingers fumbling with the stylus. He nearly dropped the device, catching it at the last second, with an uncharacteristic gasp of alarm, muttering under his breath in Japanese. Axel examined a child's drawing lying on the floor of a house, a crude depiction of a stick-figure family holding hands under a bright, smiling sun. The drawing was made with bright crayons, the colors still vibrant despite the layer of dust. A pang of sadness shot through him, a sharp, stabbing pain that brought with it a flood of memories. He carefully placed the drawing back on a table, a silent tribute to lives interrupted, a promise he had failed to keep in the past. As they explored further, they found evidence that not everyone had welcomed the force that had overtaken the colony. In one house, they discovered a room lined with a strange metallic material, unlike anything Axel had ever seen. It was dull gray, almost black, and seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The room was bare except for a small cot and a table, on which sat a half-finished metal box resembling a makeshift Faraday cage. Captain Reyes observed that they were experimenting with materials. She ran a gloved hand over one of the prototypes. "This is a Faraday cage, an enclosure designed to shield its interior from electromagnetic fields. They were trying to protect themselves." But why? Axel wondered aloud. What did they know that the others didn't? They found scattered personal logs from the colonists, mostly incomplete, but filled with increasingly anxious entries. "Sarah keeps talking about the colors. She says they sing to her. I think the isolation is finally getting to her. We should never have come here." Entry number 42. "The council won't listen. They don't see the danger. We are losing ourselves." Entry number 95. "The hum is getting louder. I can barely sleep. Last night I dreamt I was floating, weightless, surrounded by stars. But they weren't stars. They were eyes, watching me. I don't feel safe anymore." "Perhaps a naturally occurring phenomenon," Captain Reyes suggested, ever the pragmatist, though her usual confidence seemed shaken. "Maybe something in the planet's electromagnetic field." "Possibly," Axel replied. "But why abandon everything? Why leave in such a hurry? And why try to shield themselves?" The shuttle's long-range scanners picked up trace radiation underneath the surface, 30 minutes north from their current location. Curious about its origin, the team started heading in that direction to examine what was there. They discovered a hidden underground research facility beneath a mountain range. This was where the starseed scientists had studied the vibration. The facility was in a greater state of disarray than the town above, suggesting a more hurried departure. Papers were strewn about, equipment lay smashed, and the main computer terminal was damaged beyond repair. However, Dr. Tanaka, with his meticulous nature and technical expertise, managed to recover fragments of data from a backup system. He set to work immediately, his fingers flying across his datapad as he employed a specialized laser scanner to read data from a damaged hard drive. He meticulously worked through the clock to bypass corrupted sectors and piece together fragmented files. He muttered to himself in Japanese, a mix of technical jargon and exclamations of frustration and occasional triumph. "Almost there," he exclaimed as he finally managed to access a core data fragment. After several hours of work, he announced, they were trying to understand the vibration, his voice strained with exhaustion. They were running experiments, trying to isolate it, to quantify it. He paused, his eyes widening behind his glasses. "There are references here to altered states of consciousness and advanced math, but I cannot fully make sense of it. This is beyond anything I've ever encountered." As Tanaka worked tirelessly days after days, signs of exhaustion from the crew became more apparent. Some even mentioned strange behaviors. 2 crew members found their datapad swapped, a security code unexpectedly reset. An engineer reported seeing a flicker of movement out of the corner of his eye, but upon checking, there was nothing there. Then, Tanaka found it, a distress signal, activated a few years after the starseed's arrival. It was a short, automated message, repeating on a loop, a desperate plea for rescue from a threat that was never explicitly named. As they emerged from the research facility, the sun was beginning to set, casting long, eerie shadows across the deserted town. The night was going to be cold. The silence seemed to deepen, pressing in on them like a physical weight. And then they felt it, a low, almost imperceptible hum, vibrating deep within their bones. It was subtle, but it was there, the vibration. "What is that?" Captain Reyes whispered, her hand instinctively going to the weapon at her side. Axel felt a chill run down his spine. It was a feeling he knew all too well, a feeling that brought back a flood of painful memories. It was the feeling of the unknown, the feeling of something vast and powerful just beyond the reach of their understanding. And somewhere deep inside him, he knew with a certainty that chilled him to the core that the mystery of the lost colony of the starseed was far more complex and far more dangerous than he had ever imagined. The silence of New Eden was not the silence of absence. It was the silence of anticipation.